Dionisio at the plate. He's 0 for 2 today. Swakowski, the big right-hander, lets it go. It's right down Broadway. Dionisio lets it fly, and it's raining now.
It's time for Rain Delay Theater with Jeremy Dionisio and Jack Swakowski.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Rain Delay Theater, the podcast where two bums talk about other bums at baseball games. I'm Jack Swakowski.
And I'm Jeremy Dionisio.
And welcome to our recap of the CubsCon, Cubs Convention 2026. Jeremy, we were talking about it. I think it's the fourth one we've been to. It was a big one this year. It was the reunion of the 2016 team, the 10-year reunion. They'd also just signed Alex Bregman as well a couple days before the con, which created a lot of excitement, all of which led to bigger crowds than we've seen. I read that over 8,000 people attended the Cubs Convention. That was just on Reddit that I saw that. But, it definitely felt like a lot more people than previous years. But, we did some unique things this year that we hadn't done before, and it ended up being a pretty good time.
Yeah, according to the Facebook groups as well, too. There was rumors or speculation, or I'm not sure if it was ever confirmed, but they said that they had heard that it was oversold. And so, yeah, there was a lot of people, and 8,000 was the count. I don't know if that's like the oversold amount or that's like, cap. Or whatever. I think I read something. We'll get into the stuff Friday night, but I think the ballroom holds I think they said 2,000 or 3,000, which would lead to some of the issues. But we can talk about that in a minute. The big news leading into that week. I think we talked about it on the previous episode of Alex Bregman getting signed. That was the news going into the convention. He signed on Thursday of last week. The day before the convention, he officially was introduced, so he would be at the convention that weekend. It was last week, Thursday, that he was announced at Wrigley Field. The press conference happened at Wrigley Field. Of course, like Cubs social media was posting videos about it. There's a video, you may have seen it at this point if you follow Cubs on social media, of Alex Bregman showing up at Wrigley Field at the building, the office building that's at the corner where we always see people. Bregman walks in with his wife, his little toddler, and their baby, I think son, in a stroller. And you see him walk through the door. It's being filmed from the inside, and you can see him just moments before he walks in. So you see a little bit of him outside on the street, and then walking it through the door. And so what happens in the video is Bregman's toddler son runs up and hugs Clark the Cub. It's a cute video, whatever. But if you watch in the background of that video, the subtext of it all is you see a person outside of the stadium, and it is Oral, the person that we talk about. We call Oral. If you missed that episode, we call him that because they were trying to get Oral Hershiser's autograph one time, and they were calling Oral, Oral, like a frog or something. And that person was outside trying to get. You see that person kind of trying to hand something to Bregman, and then Bregman just walks right by him, walks into the door, and then through the windows of the glass of the door and the walls, you see Oral standing there, just looking just slack-jawed, mouth agape, just watching Bregman zoom right past him and walk into the stadium, thus denying Oral an autograph. And Oral's just standing there with the mouth open, and then after a couple seconds, in the background you see them just wander away out of frame and just disappear. It's amazing.
Yeah, Jeremy, just the fact that this is the Bregman's first few moments as a Cub, and this is happening is absurd. It's awesome, man. I feel like not enough people notice that in the actual video. There was a thread about that on Reddit too, but nobody pointed that out. But that's priceless, especially if you're around that scene like we are. It was good to see.
Yeah, so it's funny. It's funny just to see a grapher get denied and just to have it be documented. But the fact that it was Oral, and then we know this person, and then just the look on their face as they're their mouth is just wide open, just standing there, and they just wander off, and it's just it's just classic, and it's amazing that it was captured.
Yeah, we should show that video to Dennis. We know how much Dennis loves oral.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I know. I could see Dennison maybe not being too up to date on Cubs social media, so I could see that.
Sure.
That giving him a kick. Yeah, we didn't really get. Well, we can talk about this weekend, but that was the first thing I just wanted. We wanted to kind of like mention at the top of the show. It was leading into the Cubs convention, and like it. I saw the video that I'm on a bunch of different Cubs social media accounts. So like I saw that video pop up a bunch of different times. It's on the Cubs Instagram story. So if you want to go to their account, you can see that video. So I saw it a million times before I realized in the background. I thought it was like his agent at first or something, like leading him into the building. And then I'm like, no, they don't come in with Bregman. And then I looked again. I'm like, oh my God, that's freaking Oral. So it's just amazing.
Yeah, so folks, if you want to know what oral looks like, if you want to know what it looks, someone who doesn't give out that type of information looks like, that's oral right there. Good stuff. So, Jeremy, Friday the CubsCon happened. So yeah, this was actually one of the first things you showed me when I showed up. I arrived a little bit later than you did. I probably got there at like 12:15. You had maybe been there for 20 minutes, a half hour already. And as I was on my way, as I was walking in there, you're like, first autograph down, or whatever you said, and I was like, oh my God, this guy already got an autograph.
Yeah, and I say that mostly just because I think it was last year we really kind of described what it's like to step through across the threshold into Cubs convention, and then you're in it for the whole weekend. So yeah, I got there a little bit before you. I walked in, and then like I see graphers in the hotel lobby, and they're you can just see when they're stirring, and they're getting their books out, they're flipping pages, they're getting to a page. I saw them kind of go over, and kind of in a little like side alcove or little cutout was Fergie Jenkins signing autographs. So it started like right away for me. I was almost gonna. I saw that it was Fergie, and I was like, I don't really need him, and there's kind of a lot of people around, but if nothing else, it's just to like kind of break the seal and get things going. So he was really mobbed, but to his credit, he stood there. This was his first bit of convention too. So I guess we were catching him fresh. But he, to his credit, he kind of like worked his way through the mob and signed all these autographs, and I got him pretty quick and put him back in my book, and headed down and checked out the bottom floor basement area, but yeah, knocked him out right away.
Yeah, so that was cool. I would get him a little later. We can get into that later when it actually happens. But there were autograph signings right at 1:00. Yep. But the convention was popping, so we still we kind of hung out in the lobby for a little bit, tried to figure out what to do. Then we went down to get our badges, and it was about time to get in line for the first guy. So the first signing was Lee Smith. Mm-hmm. He was signing at 1:00 in one of the rooms in the Sheraton. It was the same room where we got Derek Lee last year, actually. And I think at like 12:52 or something, we got in line. We got in the Derek Lee line, and there was already a long-ass line forming for him. But whatever, we got in line because there was nothing else to do but get that autograph. It's tough to know kind of what order to do this all in because it was happening all around the same time. But the people we got behind were in an argument. It was like an older couple, probably like 10 years older than us, and they were in an argument, like a kind of a heated argument.
Yeah, it was a husband and his wife in their 60s or something, or 50s, I would say, and the guy like was giving off kind of like abusive vibes or something, like just a big lout vibes, and like he was saying like I caught it like we kind of, they were in the back of the line and we got behind them, and we heard him saying like, that's the one thing I said, that's the most important thing I said. He's like, if there's one thing that you could have picked up on, it was that, but you didn't get it. And like he was kind of like browbeating her or whatever, and it's like, Jesus, man, like why are you doing this like in front of people? I mean, why are you doing it at all, but definitely in front of people. And he I don't know if this was his way of like lightening up or whatever, because there were people around, but I caught him saying, he said to the wife, he's like, you know what you need? whiskey. And like, I think that was his way of like lightly like wrapping up the situation or whatever. It was weird. Yeah, you know, it was ugly, like a ugly way to start, kind of.
It was, and this guy, I guess we can just do him, like all of him now. But he had like this gravelly smoker's voice. And while we were in the Lee Smith line, I kind of saw him go through like the 5 stages of grief as far as autographs go. Like, I mean, when we started, we weren't really moving, but he's like, yeah, I think we'll be fine. We'll be fine. And then the line didn't move for like 15 or 20 minutes, which we would later find out was because Lee Smith was 15 minutes late. So that made sense, but we didn't move for a long time. And he's like, oh, geez, we haven't moved for a long time. And then we got up a little further, and he's like, I don't know. And then we get into the room, and he sees that so ultimately we didn't get Lee Smith. He sees that Lee Smith has stopped signing, and he goes, I guess I'll have to get him tomorrow at the season ticket holders thing. And he just leaves. He just left. He waited in line for a whole hour, and he didn't even want to get the next guys who were Burris and Cardinal, who were actually who we wanted. So it's like this guy waited an entire hour in line, didn't get Lee Smith, and then bailed.
Yeah, and didn't get the guy. Yeah, because like the kind of the thing in the back of your mind of getting in that line was you knew that you would get the next guy. We were kind of trying to confirm that with a Cubs usher, and so it seems like even if you didn't really want Burris and Cardinal that bad, you would just get them because you invested that time already. But whatever. I think he was maybe trying to get Grimm or something. But the other thing about this guy too is that he was just fucking hovering over us the whole time, and like he was like involving himself in our conversation, which of course like he like people always do, but like I felt like we couldn't say anything without this guy eavesdropping or even chiming in to what we said. So it was a little annoying. But yeah, so okay, so we're in line. So before we get into the room, we're in line, and I don't know if we kind of talked about it on the podcast last week or the preview or whatever, but they have schedules. They have public signings in the basement. Of course, like that's what we do. They had they last year they had season ticket holder only signings, and like honestly, last year it was really frustrating because there was a lot of guys who I wanted, but just they were only signing for season ticket holders. So I said last year, I'm like, I would maybe try to get a season ticket holder wristband. I'm on this like Facebook group about the Cubs convention, and so a lot of people post stuff if they have stuff available, if they're looking for stuff to get signed, etc., etc. And last year, a bunch of people were selling like their season ticket holder wristbands, and so I put a feeler out early, and I didn't get any bites. But we were in line and we were waiting, and so I decided to check the Facebook group, and this is at like 1 p.m., like 1:30, whatever. It was like 1 p.m. On Friday afternoon, like right at the beginning of the convention. I looked at the thing and someone posted like, I have 3 tickets available and 2 season ticket holder wristbands. And he had posted it 3 minutes prior to that. So I replied really quick. I messaged him. I responded to his post and I said like, hey, I'm interested. What are you asking? And I think that like, I still don't know if 100% what the price is for them. I heard that a lot of people are trying to sell them for $125, which I think is the same amount as the entry, like a ticket for the weekend. But something like that. And so like I was prepared to maybe have to pay that much for a wristband, even though it sucks a little bit because you just paid that much to get in. So the guy writes me back and he's like $80. And I was like, whoa, $80. Okay. Like, yeah. I'm like, I kind of like played it out in my head, like for a second, like, do I want to spend that much? And it's like, yeah, I do. I do. That's worth it. And, so I mentioned it to you and, you're like, yeah, that's a pretty good deal. And, so like I wrote him back and I'm like, yeah, I'm interested. Yeah, I think like I confirmed with you, like I'm like, do you want me to ask for 2? And like you were on board with that price. So I just said like, yeah, I'm actually interested in 2 if you still have the 2 available. And I said like, are you here? And I said I'm in line for Lee Smith. And then we were standing by like this hot dog. It was a little station, I think, where they sell food, and there was a little Vienna beef hot dog stand sign, and I just get a message that says like tall guy by the hot dogs. And I look over, and like we're right by the hot dogs, and I look over and I see the guy, and I think he sees me look over, and I'm like, Bill, whatever his name was. And he's like, yeah, Jeremy. And we pretty much just did the transaction right there. It was crazy.
Yeah, we both Venmo'd him $80. It went through. The reception was bad, so like there was a moment where I'd Venmo'd him, and I was like, oh my God, is this not going to go through? But it did. It worked, and so we got the wristbands. And this would kind of impact us more tomorrow, not really at all on Friday. But it ended up being a total game changer. Like I don't know if I could go back to not having this wristband now that we've done it.
Yeah, 100%. And so like the whole thing happened. I think when we did the math, it was like it was like 14 minutes. I think. And like there was a point where like he we were gonna pay him and he didn't know his Venmo, so he had to like kind of like leave and go find out from his wife like what their Venmo was, and that probably took about 4 or 5 minutes. So the whole thing from me messaging this guy to like us to him dropping the wristbands in our hands was like 10 minutes, and it was just crazy, and it just happened so fast, and I felt like that fucking gravelly guy in front of us was listening to the whole thing. That was kind of like the funny thing. Like it's a good thing he had a season ticket holder wristband already, or else he probably would have been like, hey, let me get in on that or something. Like, so yeah, that was, it was fortuitous. And like, yeah, it upended the whole plan for the weekend and for Saturday. So we'll get into that later. But after that happened, so we got the wristbands on. Now we're buzzing at this point, and we're like, oh my God! And we started looking at the season ticket holder signings for tomorrow. And by that point, we got up to the room, and we got into the room. Jack, real quick before we go further, that was the same room that we got Lee Smith in. It's like in my mind, I feel like we got Lee Smith on the first floor, but I know the room. It
was the same room we got Derek Lee in.
Yeah.
And actually, last year we got Lee Smith in that room too. So it was the same room for both those guys last year. Yep.
It's so weird. I seem to I was like almost certain it was on the first floor, but like but yeah, it wouldn't have been because we were like I remember the layout of the two rooms, so it would have been that room. So that's just weird in my whole mind until just now. I was thinking like it was a different room. It was like I knew the room looked the same, but I thought it was on the first floor. But okay. But yeah, so anyway, so we get to the front of the room, we get into the room, and there's like a Cubs usher lady, she wasn't really taking tickets, but she was like letting people in. And she saw our books, and she started commenting on our books, like, oh, that's everyone's doing that now with the books and the cards in it. And then she's like, yeah, there's a lot of kids do that too, and you'll see the kids walking around. And she's like, there's one boy who he goes to all the games. I see him outside of Wrigley Field, and he goes to all the games, and he gets everyone's autograph. And she's telling this to me and Jack, and we're kind of like nodding our heads, and we kind of look at each other, and we're like, I think, Jack, you said like, is his name Josh? And she's like, yeah, that's it, yep. Josh. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Actually, she may have even called it out before we said it, but it was just like you could see it coming from a mile away when she started to describe who it was. We knew for sure that it was Josh. What was funny about her story though was that like Josh in her mind kept getting older. Like the more she talked about him, she's like, oh yeah, he's like 14 now. And then, oh yeah, he's 14 or 15. And then finally it was, yeah, he's like 16 now. I don't think he's as old as any of those. But then she was like, oh, he's such a little kid, or he's so little, but you hear him talk and he's got such a deep voice. I was like, all right, like this kid ain't Sam Elliott. Like, let's not, he doesn't, his voice isn't that deep.
I know she was getting like she was like kind of swooning over him at some point. It seemed like.
Yeah, and she was like, "Oh, he knows all the players." Like, lady, this Josh doesn't know all the players. All right, especially not on the visiting team. So like, let's pump the brakes a little bit. But yeah, it's amazing because we'd never really seen this usher before or interacted with her, and like she knew Josh. So it's just amazing how ubiquitous he is at Wrigley Field. I'm sure they all see him pregame, but still.
Yeah, exactly. So it was funny just to hear someone else's like, recounting of Josh, and then his role in all of this stuff. But, so yeah, that was that was pretty goofy.
Yeah. And certainly a different tenor than the monologist's version of what Josh does. So it was interesting to hear those two sides of the coin. But right around this time too, like literally right after this conversation, this smoky voiced, like wasted, like older lady came up to the usher, and this lady was the type of lady you'd see like playing the slot machines at a crappy casino in Las Vegas, just as like a full-time job. Sounded like one too. And she was like, oh, who's in there? Can I peek? Like, and she kept asking the usher, like, oh, can I just take a peek? And the lady didn't want her to come in. And she's like, no, you got to be in line. And she's like, oh, we're in line. Line. It was insane.
Yeah, she's just this she seemed like just like a gravelly, smoky, like screechy voiced lady, and she's like, I just want to take a peek, and the woman goes like, oh, you won't be able to see him. He's behind the pole, the pillar there. And so you won't be able to see him. And she was saying like you won't be able to like peek in and see him. And then the woman goes like, what? I can't. What? So I go up there and I won't be able to see him. I just hand him my thing to get autographed. And she's like, no, I'm saying you can't see him from here. And she's like, oh, okay. Like, but she seemed like she was drunk. And
yes.
And again, it's like 1 p.m. in the afternoon. Like it's like an hour into Cubs convention for the whole weekend, and she seems like she's already wasted.
There was a lot of that.
Yeah,
that at CubsCon.
Yeah, for sure. So it would turn out she would like end up going back in the line, and then they would get into the room a little bit after us, and I heard some guy talking like, oh yeah, oh there he is, okay, we're gonna get him, it's looking pretty good, we're in line. And like I looked and he's with that lady, and I'm like, of course they're together. And it's just like these people, like it's, you know what to expect, but you don't know it until you're experiencing it to like really adjust to it.
You wonder how these people all make their way to this convention. It's really hard to tell.
Yeah, and I guess to that point, one thing that we've kind of like experienced and realized, and it's not even just Cubs convention, it's like being in spring training as well, is like you start talking to people in line or like while you're waiting for autographs or whatever, and maybe it's just the world nowadays. It's not even just like baseball autograph related things, but it's like you almost have to set your with all the people that you interact, you almost have to set like an over under to like if they're going to have like a problematic social or political take. If you recall my spring training talk last year about the white guy who didn't think the Indians should have changed their name and wasn't offended by it.
Yep.
There would be some other people we would talk about, some on Saturday who you start talking to someone and you're like, okay, when's it coming? When are they going to say something weird? I guess the next guy that I talked about, falls into this category. I guess just to kind of transition into that, we end up we split up. Jack, where did you go? You went to get Bob Dernier?
Yeah, so we did folks end up getting Ray Burris and Jose Cardinal, which was cool. Neither of us needed Burris. Like if you've been around any Cubs event, you don't need Burris, but we did need Cardinal, so that was a good one to knock off. And then we ended up splitting up. Jeremy, you wanted to get Sean Dunston, who was signing in Shula's Steakhouse, and I wanted to get Dernier, who was signing in the same room where we just got Burris and Cardinal. So yeah, we split up for a little while, actually about an hour, to get those two autographs.
Yeah. So I had a whole thing with like the line for Dunston to get into Shula's. It was really annoying. But I get in a line. I'm trying to find out where the end of the line is, and like the line kind of curved back, and then it was like broken up because the elevator was there, and there was one guy on the other side of the elevator, and like I kept asking these people, I'm like, where does the line end? And like they were the last people I saw, and they're like, it ends over there, and I'm like, okay, that's weird. And I asked an usher, and they're like, it ends right here. And then the people again go like, no, it ends over there. And I look back, and there's this dude on the other side of the escalator, and he's got this big wagon with him. and it's filled with baseballs, like filled with like Rawlings baseballs in boxes. And then he starts talking to me, and he's like, yo, the line's back here, dude. And like, I can't, like, I wish I could say his name. I think at this point, moving forward, we should probably try to come up with like fake names for people just in case they discover this. But this guy would know exactly who I'm talking about. But he has a funny name, and so he started talking to me, and he's like, yeah, dude, like I'm getting autographed balls. He sounded like he was from like Philadelphia. Like he's like, I got all these balls, and he's like, I got World Series balls. And he's like, I'm selling them online. People are like trying to get these balls from me, and I'm selling them 33 for. He's like, I got them. He's like, Bergie's store. He's like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, because I saw a post. Bergie's is a card shop in Highland Park. He's like, yeah, I picked up 4 dozen of them. Three for $100. He's like, I bought a dozen of them, and he's like, I'm selling them on the Facebook groups. He's like, I'm on all the Cubs Facebook groups. I'm Cubs obsessed. I'm on Real Friendly Confines. I'm on all the groups. And he's like, I post I'm selling them. He's like, I'm selling them for $40. He's like, I should probably be charging more, but $40, I'm not making any money off of this. And he's like, but you know what I did? He's like, the people, they got to come to me and find me. That's what I did. Like, I'm leaving it up to them. And he's like, but the thing is, people can't follow directions. They can't follow instructions. So they're messaging me and trying to find out where I'm at. And it's like, I'm just making them come to me. And he's just like going on and on about these like cards, and is just a really in your face, intense character. The impression that I was doing of him, Jack, you eventually met him the next day, so you can hopefully attest to that impression.
I did, Jeremy. I was glad I got to run into him. He's kind of a hard guy to miss too. There's an old John Ford movie called Wagon Master, and like maybe we can call him something like that, just because like he's got this wagon that he drags everywhere, and yeah, he kind of talks like this, and he's real laid back though. Like he's not. He wasn't an asshole to me, or maybe he'd mellowed out by the second day, but he's like, yeah, man, I'm just going to go try to get Dawson. Can you watch my stuff there? And, he's got this whole campsite worth of stuff. He's got like a chair, he's got some bats, he's got his wagon, and eventually, like, this is a whole nother thing with the next day, but like the line started moving, and I had to like leave a lot of his shit there because like he wasn't there and the line was moving. So yeah, this guy was a whole thing. But yeah, he definitely talked like that, Jeremy. I mean, he reminds me of a guy who might hang out with like Badger and Skinny Pete from Breaking Bad. Like he was
Yeah.
that sort of he had that kind of vibe to him.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, that's kind of the energy that he was bringing. He's like, hey, you want a beer, dude? And I was like, yeah, sure. And like, I took a beer. He gave me like a Modelo, and I started drinking it. And I was drinking it for a long time in line. We were waiting for a long time, and at some point he offered me another one, and I had not eaten like one morsel of food. And I'm like, thanks, dude, I appreciate it, but I think I got to pass, man. It's like I haven't eaten anything. He's like, oh yeah, okay, I got you. And but like he was like, yeah. So to speak to the line thing, he did the same thing to me. He's like, Pat Hughes was signing. He goes, oh, is that Pat Hughes over there? Or he's like, who's that over there? And I'm like, it's Pat Hughes. He's like, oh, he's like, can you watch my stuff while I go over there? And I'm like, yeah, sure. And then at some point they told us like we couldn't stand there and we had to move. And this dude's like his wagon is there, and I'm like, what am I supposed to do? And I kind of moved ahead, but I kind of signaled for him that that we moved. And so I was still watching his wagon, but we moved. And then he's like, yeah, and then the next day when he was in line for the Dawson, he said to me, and he had said this like yesterday, but he said to both of us, he's like, okay, well, you want to get Dawson? I want to get Dawson. You want to get Wiggins? He's like, well, good thing is this guy's going to come and watch our stuff. And he's like, that's why you make friends here. You always got to make friends. You got to do it. And like, he's like, they'll watch your stuff for you. And then he just disappeared into the room or whatever. So it was just crazy. This guy is crazy. And he was funny. He was a funny guy. He's funny to talk to. And like sharing a beer with the guy was that was pretty fun, and I did have a buzz on for a minute, and I thought this is another thing, like, spoiler alert, like I did not end up getting Dunston, but because the line like just timed out. I might have even bailed. I'm not quite sure. No, they did cut it off at some point. He bailed, and yeah, but like I thought for a minute there I was gonna show up to the front of the line with Dunston and be like kind of like slightly drunk, and maybe say something weird or make a fool of myself. But it was it didn't end up being a thing, but funny nonetheless.
Yeah, and Jeremy, so much for Friends. The next day when we were in that line and I had to watch that guy's stuff and we started moving, you had gone off to get an autograph and you came back right as we were moving, and I was like, hey man, like this guy wanted me to watch his stuff. You're like, come on man, let's just go, let's just move. So like, but like there was nothing to be done. Like we had invested so much time. So yeah, just be careful who you make friends with, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was a weird situation. It's like we were not even in the we left the hallway and went into like the convention room to get the autograph, and so it was like at that point it's like, what are we gonna do,
Right. No, it's a tough situation, but I think in general, like you mentioned, you had a tough time finding where the start of the line was for Dunston. Like it's if you want bad information, just go to CubsCon. Like you cannot trust anybody at that con to give you good information. Not the ushers. If you ask the ushers, where a certain thing is happening or what, none of them ever seem quite sure, and they always have to ask another usher who is also not quite sure. People who are in line don't even know what the score is for stuff. When I was in the Dernier line, the lady in front of me was talking to her friend who she was in line with, and she was like, yeah, you can get in to get Dernier's autograph, but you got to have one of these. And she pointed to the season ticket holder wristband. And it's like, no, you don't. This autograph is for anybody. You don't need to get the. Why are you saying that? Why are you so confidently wrong? When I got up to the Dernier, like the where we had the interaction with that lady about Josh. So right as I was about to enter the Dernier room, this guy comes up to the usher, the same lady, and he's like, hey, is Dexter in there? And she was like, Dexter? He's like, yeah, Dexter's doing a signing in there. She's like, no, Dexter's not doing a signing. That's Bobby Dernier. It's like, where did that guy hear that Dexter Fowler was in there? Like, there's just a lot of bad misinformation being spread at this convention.
Yeah, it is. I mean, that almost puts it like out of the hands of the Cubs people. But like the Cubs employees are always giving I don't even know what the point is of even asking them a question, because it's just you cannot trust anything they say. It's a bummer, and it's like, and I think both of us are mostly guys who don't really ask for directions or help unless it's really necessary. And yeah, you just get something and like you can tell that they don't know it. I was actually having that whole conversation with the guy. I had that conversation with many people in line, because we would experience the Cubs workers not knowing the answers to something, or not, being able to answer or giving something that we knew was wrong. Like, so it's super frustrating.
Yes, it is. Well, Jeremy, at one point we had split up, and this is before we decided to get in line for the big ceremony. But I got a piece of pizza, and it was pretty good. And the pizza was a whole nother thing that I don't even think we have time to get into. But like the guy who was like serving these pizzas, I would see him put pizza in one oven, then put it in a different oven, then slice it, then take a couple of boxes out, and then like make the boxes up, and then he'd take the pizza that he'd taken from that oven and he'd put it back in the same oven it had been in before. Like I saw him do this for 5 minutes. He did everything but serve somebody a piece of pizza, and it was kind of annoying. They served pizza in the lobby, and I got a slice. It was good. And then you eventually went off to get a slice while we were waiting in line to get up to the main ceremony for the red carpet ceremony, and it was good. I think you tried to eat your pizza a little too soon after you got it though.
Well, yeah. So yeah, I ended up once you got back in line, I got the food. We were waiting to get up to the opening ceremonies, and I ate it. I mean, like, I don't know. Did you like let yours cool or something, Jack? Because like I did.
I took like one little bite, and I was like, "Oh, that's way too hot." So I let it cool for a couple minutes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was standing, so I was just kind of like a grab and go situation, and so I was trying to eat it, and like I burnt the hell out of my mouth, and the funny thing about that is like that would also last the whole week. end, which in some way was like a good thing because like you don't really eat that much when you're there. Like I don't, like, you know, like I'm sure people are stopping for meals, but bouncing in between autograph lines, like back to back to back to back, you don't have much time to eat. So like the fact that my mouth was burnt for the whole weekend kind of like made me a little less hungry for the whole weekend. So it helped in a weird way. But yeah, the pizza guy was insane. Like he was like, it looked like a comedic sketch. He's just like Jack said, like grabbing pizzas, dropping slices. But then like at some point, like me and two other women were standing in front of him, and he had 4 slices stacked up in boxes ready to go, but he would not look up and give them to us. He just kept like flipping pizzas into different warming things, and it was ridiculous. So that was a mess. A bigger mess than that was the actual Friday night opening ceremonies, which, like I think each year we've kind of like increasingly had like harder and harder times with this session. Like the first year we got in, we got seats, and we were kind of like, okay. Maybe actually like the second year we ended up standing. Last year we ended up having to sit all the way to the far side of the ballroom. This year we get up there and they won't let anyone else in. They're like, sorry, we're at capacity. Then they were like kind of waving people over. So a lot of people were pissed off and couldn't get into the opening ceremonies, and rightfully so. Like, it's not like it's an autograph line. It's the headline event of the whole weekend, where they come out and they introduce like all the players present and past who are going to be there. They announce the Cubs Hall of Fame, and they show videos and all this stuff, and it's hosted by Cole Wright. And like, it seems like it's something that if you get tickets to the event, you should be able to go to. And they were like not letting people in. It was super frustrating because we got to like basically right in front of the doors. So if they let anyone else in, we should have been like the next people in. And there was like these Cubs ushers standing there pretty much helpless, like really helpless to kind of do anything. They were trying to tell people you can't come in. But then like a guy and they're older ushers, and one guy would turn his back, and then like 5 people would like run in to the door. And we were not doing that, and we ended up getting screwed because we wouldn't do that. We should have just ran like, ransacked, like bombarded, like bum rushed the door. But yeah, so they were trying to do what they could, and then at some point, like the other ushers started coming over, and the one usher in particular, one security guard in particular, was a guy we talked about last year. I don't know if we came up with a name for him last year, but he's a security guard and he's around Wrigley. We see him sometimes. Luckily, thank God, Jack, that we don't actually deal with this guy during the season, really. Yep. But he's this husky, like dude, this like just like big dude, husky, and has like a beard, like a goatee kind of thing, like I think, or like maybe it's a full beard, but it's like longer, like in the goatee area, and he's got bushy curly hair, and I think most of the time he has it like this where it's kind of shaved on the sides and like bushy up top. Yep. And aside from calling him like a major asshole, like we came up with the name Wedgehead for him. I was just like, his head looks like a wedge, like of cheese or a wedge of whatever, and
like an iceberg wedge salad or something like that. There you go.
Exactly. So he's Wedgehead. So he gets involved, and he is the antithesis of like customer of fan friendly. He's just a complete dickhead. Last year, if you go back and listen to the episode, he was turning people away from the Kyle Tucker line, and he was straight up saying, like, usually they say like it's not guaranteed, and it's like, it's not looking so great, but you can try. He was just straight up saying like, you're not going to get Kyle Tucker, you're not going to get him. And I had another run-in with him on Sunday, which I'll get to, but he was in another position to deny people, and he was denying people from getting in.
Yep, and he was saying he got up on his high horse. You could kind of tell he was going to do it. And he started to make an announcement. He's like, we will be streaming this. We will be streaming it throughout the lobby. We will be streaming it in your hotel rooms. As if everybody who was at the convention was staying at the Sheraton. But also, like, that's terrible logic. Jeremy, like you said, if you buy a ticket to this, you should be able to get in. But also, people are going in because they want the experience of being there when these guys walk out on the red carpet. They want to feel the energy with the rest of the crowd. You know what? All Cubs games are on TV. All baseball games are on TV. Why should I go to a baseball game when I can just stream it in my home? Like, why would I want to go? Like, by that logic, why should anybody go to any type of live event if they can just watch it on their TV? If we're going by Wedgehead's logic.
Yeah, well, and buy a ticket. It's like, if I buy a ticket for a Cubs game, I don't then decide, like, I'll just watch it at home. It's like, what an ignorant thing to say. And it's like, what do you think that these people are like trying to sneak in? Like, do you think like they underhandedly put themselves in this position? It's like, no, like, they're fans. They came here to celebrate the team that they care about. And this guy is just nothing but he acts like you're an idiot for trying to show up there and trying to get into the ceremonies. Like, just unbelievable, like, unbelievably poor customer service. And listen, I know that, like, a lot of people are unhappy, and a lot of people, like, maybe want things that are unreasonable. You can't please everyone, all these things, all these caveats. But this guy is just like a jerk, like a straight up jerk, not helpful whatsoever, not solution oriented, not even like padding the bad news sort of thing or anything. He's just like, he was making people feel stupid for wanting to go there. And it's like, he's friggin' horrible. He's just like the worst. And it's like, how does this person get to this position? I just don't understand, other than the fact that he is an asshole. And it's like, I guess you gotta be an asshole a little bit to like be a security guard in a way. I guess that's not fair to other security guards who are not assholes. So I don't even know, but it's like, I guess you can't be a pushover or something, but this guy is like taking it way too far.
Yeah, Jeremy. And I think just in general, it was a fail by the Cubs to not plan that better, that they might have to turn people away. They should have known that was going to happen. The ushers seemed completely unprepared with how to deal with this situation at all. I'm sure enough people will complain about it that they'll probably try to address it next year. One thing I noticed they did, so, I guess long story short here with who got in and who didn't, I just kind of pieced out. I was like, man, I'm good. I'm good here. I don't really want to deal with this anymore. So I was like, if you end up getting in, cool. And honestly, it's probably a bigger deal to you because you are a Cubs fan than me.
Yeah.
I've seen it 3 times now, and I know what it is. But it's still fine to see. But you ended up actually sneaking in, which is funny. So you got into the ceremony. And it was actually a nice break for me because I got to sit down, and I was pretty tired. So it was I guess I actually kind of enjoyed the time that I had by myself. But yeah, you were able to get in. You were standing room though, right?
Yeah, I can talk about like what ended up happening with me. So yeah, we did split up, and like we actually walked over to the red carpet to see if we could get like a good spot there for maybe autographs or something. And then I was just like, we really weren't able to get super close. So I ended up I'm like, I'm just gonna go back. You said what you said, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go back and just see what happens. And everyone, by the time I came back, it had gotten like more ugly. Like people were like all the way. There was a door all the way at the far end where they were like letting people go in and out. And like the thing is about it too, while we were standing there, is like people would constantly come back and they were like, oh, I was already in there. My mom's in there. My husband's in there. They're saving me a seat. Blah blah blah. And so the people they were trying to like make everyone go in and out on the far left door. And there was a big like mob by that door. And there was like one woman who was like, I think she might've been like guest relations or something. I don't think she was like in security maybe, but she was in maybe like PR or something for the Cubs or something. She eventually like walked over to the second door from the left and was like, all right, everyone, if you're trying to get in, I'm going to mark your hand. And then so a bunch of us, like, she's just come over and follow me to this door. And so she has like a Sharpie in her hand, and people started going up to her, and like they just were putting their hand out, and she was just like marking everyone's hand with an X, and then they were going inside. And like a couple people, she marked a couple people. I kind of got in that group, and like she's marking people, and she's like, all right, you had a seat inside, right? And they're like, yeah. And she marked the hand. She's like, okay, go ahead. And then I go up. I'm like next. And then she like marks my hand. And I go like, thank you. And I just went in. Like, that was it. So I think like I heard her say earlier too, she's like, people, we're asking people to please be honest and tell us if you were inside already. And we will, we'll let you in, blah, blah, blah. So she never asked me. I never had to lie. I just put my hand out. She marked it and I walked in. And then I got kind of a nice spot, like right kind of like in the, like, center stage, all the way in the back. I had a stand, but I also like brought this little stool that I got for Christmas for Cubs convention. So I was able to sit for a little bit, and I was in the room. So it worked out for me. And Jack, it seems like you got to like regroup and stuff. So I think it worked out for all of us.
Jeremy, one thing I didn't get to, I missed some Cole Wright stuff that I think was funny. I have a question for you about one of those things, but you should say the things that were good.
Yeah, I mean, you could probably pick apart like every single thing that he said, but like, yeah, I mean, like last year, he said Jameson Taillon was sneaky big, right?
Well, yeah, he called Jameson Taillon sneaky big. I think he said Justin Steele put the league on storm. I think he was talking about Justin Steele in that regard. He said that Nick Madrigal was going to diversify his portfolio by playing third base in addition to second base. So, yeah, this guy is just crazy. He'll just say anything. I
believe he also said that Tucker Barnhart has Joker vibes, serious Joker vibes. Cause he's wearing
because he was wearing No, wait, did Tucker Barnhart say that about himself?
Did he? I don't remember.
I think he did, because he was wearing a purple suit, and I think he said he's like, yeah, I've got kind of Joker vibes here. Yeah, okay. I think Barnhart might have said that about himself.
Oh well, he went Cole Wright on himself, I guess. But so two things that stood out to me, like, so he in past years he would introduce everyone like individually, like the alumni, the prospects, and the current guys, because the 2016 guys were there. They were doing it fast, and they brought everyone out in single groups, except for the current guys. So those guys got individual introductions. For Matthew Boyd, he goes like, all right, this next guy made his first All-Star game in 2025. He was a rock of the starting rotation, and he's always gracious, Matthew Boyd. And then he comes out. It's like, he's always gracious. So like, what the hell does that mean? And how does that apply to baseball? Like, it's just, he just says stuff to say stuff, and it's always ridiculous. It's always crazy. So that was one thing. And then some guys have more stuff to say than others. Gavin Hollowell is on this 40-man roster. He survived all of last year on the 40-man roster, and he's still on it this year. And he actually had a couple nice moments, but he didn't really get to play that much. But what do you say about Gavin Hollowell? Like, even the fans don't really know much about him or have seen much about him. And so he goes like, this next guy, part of the relief corps, you know him. It's Gavin Hollowell. It's like he has to tell the fans that they know. It's like, trust me, you've seen this guy before. You know that he exists, Gavin Hollowell. It's like, that's all he had for Gavin Hollowell. You know him. It's Gavin Hollowell. It's like, oh my
Jeremy,
God.
So I have to ask, like, there was a Cubs con mega thread on Reddit, on the Cubs subreddit. Did you write that quote on there? Somebody wrote it. Was it you?
No.
Yeah, man. So somebody else wrote, you know him, it's Gavin Hollowell, and it got a bunch of upvotes. So
Nice.
you're not the only one who thought that was funny.
That's awesome. Yeah. It's just like, he's a guy, Gavin Hollowell. It's like, okay, great. So yeah, it's funny. And then I guess in that same tip, it's like a guy like Gavin Hollowell, the Cubs picked up Ryan Rollison, who like was a White Sox like a week ago. But like he's a guy who's been he's been DFA'd by a couple teams now. And we got him last year with the Rockies, but I think he maybe went to the Braves at some point, and then he was with the White Sox. And the Cubs claimed him. I guess he like landed in the roulette, like in the Cubs slot to go to Cubs convention. He gets an individual introduction. Gavin Hollowell gets an individual introduction, but then like Anthony Rizzo, David Ross, Jason Hayward, Dexter Fowler. These guys all come out in one group and never get their name. They don't really get their name said. Obviously, they don't really need their name said. But it's funny that Ryan Rollison got an individual introduction, but Ross and Rizzo and those guys had to come out in a big group. So it's kind of funny.
I think it would have been better for the fans if they would have just done like the 25-man Major League roster and then taken the extra time to announce the World Series returnees, because those guys would have gotten a big pop and it would have been a nice moment.
Yeah, and I would even assume that the players would understand that, like the current players. Yep. Like, it's like, dude, they should have been introducing everybody individually, like at least from the 2016 team. If they want to do the alumni like in one big swoop and stuff, like, it's kind of weird, but it is what it was. Rizzo came out last with the trophy. Madden came out towards the end, so it was cool, but it was also weird. There was another funny moment when Rick Sutcliffe came out. He was one of the last alumni to be announced, and like Jose Cardinal was there, and he had gotten called out earlier. They do it alphabetically, and he was sitting down. And I wanted to go back and look at this, but in some way, if I'm wrong, if I saw it wrong, it's more funny. But I think Sutcliffe came out, and he goes to sit down. He goes and waves hi to everybody, and he goes to sit down, and he sits down on Jose Cardinal's lap. And then he pretends like, oh, I didn't see you there. And he sits down on Jose Cardinal, and John Lackey was behind them, like standing up, and he's like fucking yucking it up with his big horse teeth, and he's like, oh, and like, and it was just like, I get that Sut was messing with Cardinal, but Cardinal, we met him up close. He's pretty old and he looks pretty frail. Yes. It's like, I'm like, that's not the guy you want to be messing around with like that. And then of course John Lackey's just like, like it was just a weird look. And I don't know if you saw that, Jack, but obviously
I didn't see that on the TV, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's got to be on the replay if you see it. So
sure.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, the ceremony happens, and we end up like kind of getting over by the red carpet for a little bit. We ended up getting Luke Little's autograph. Luke Little was over there. Addison Russell came out. Yeah, Addison Russell came out. I ended up getting his autograph. Do you have any more to say about?
Yeah, well, we got Luke Little's autograph. There was this guy there who had a real problem with the fact that some adults were in line.
This guy was an asshole.
Yeah, he was an asshole. But anyway, yeah, we ended up getting Luke Little, and you got Addison Russell. I didn't have anything for Russell.
We were by the red carpet for a little bit, and got a couple guys. Addison Russell's the people that he was with. There was some woman that was with him who was like policing who he signed for, and that was like really weird. And like, I don't know, she was acting almost like, I don't know who she was. Like, I don't know if that was his agent or like someone that he was with, but she was like pretty much dictating who he signed for and how long he signed for, and it was very weird. I've never seen anything like that before. And then to have it be Russell of all people, it was odd. So
yes.
So yeah, I got lucky, I guess. But yeah, we they also, after the ceremony, they announced that there was some surprise signings in the basement, in the bottom level of the event, and they had done this before, but it wasn't this. These were like not even listed on the schedule, but I kind of had a sneaking suspicion that it might happen. So I ran down there and just to check it out, and I ended up getting Kane Kepley. I think I talked about it last week that I made a couple custom cards, and so I got a custom of Kane Kepley, Cubs second round draft pick from this past year, and I put it in front of him. I'm like, yeah, I made this one. He's like, oh yeah, that's real nice. I like that a lot. And so it was nice. We talked about like the reaction you could get from a player, and so he was like super like, oh gee, like oh shucks kind of sort of thing, and like it was kind of funny. I think he's from like North Carolina, but he sounded like a southern like, oh thanks, thank you very much, it's very nice or whatever. So it was kind of funny. So I got him, and yeah, so I don't know, I think like this is kind of like one of the more fun parts of the weekend is like Friday night when you're kind of just roaming around the hotel and like looking to see who you run into. So we were upstairs for a little bit. We went downstairs. We went to the main level. We were kind of riding the escalators, like just, randomly looking, like went out in the lobby, just kind of looking to see where guys may pop up. And so we ended up going down to the main level. And Fergie ended up signing. Fergie was signing at the bar.
Yeah, he was. So I ended up getting him at the bar. He kind of ran with my marker a little bit. Like, he took my marker and he used it to sign some woman's bar napkin. And I was worried that, like, the napkin was wet or something and, like, it was going to screw up my marker. It didn't end up happening. But it was strange because, like, all of these people were going up to the bar and they were kind of blocking the egress for the servers to be able to get to the tables. It was kind of bedlam. So eventually he moved to a table with a security guard, and then he just started having his drink as a table and at the table while people signed for him. It was kind of like a Ray Burris type of situation from the first con we went to. But I was glad to get him, and so yeah, Jeremy, you and I both got Fergie, but it was not at a signing, which was kind of strange.
Yeah, it was, and I think people have said that's kind of like what Cubs convention is all about. So
yep.
that's nice. But I kind of like lingered behind that line a little bit because I had already gotten him earlier that day, but I had another card, so I was gonna try to get him. I ended up like waiting for him a little bit, but then I saw like another guy signing, on the other end of the bar, basically. So I actually ended up getting out of line, and it was Ryan Rollison, and I just kind of missed him. Hobie Milner came down the escalator, I guess, and you ended up getting him, Jack?
Yeah, I caught Milner. Actually, that was one of my better, that card looks great. I'm surprised he signed that, as well as he did, considering how fast the whole thing was. I kept it discreet. I was like, hey, Hobie, do you have time? And he was like, yep. He could tell I was trying to be discreet about it and not sandbag him. So he signed for me. That was cool. So I picked him off. And then there were a couple other guys we got in the lobby. We can get to this other thing later. First of all, in the lobby, let's just mention this guy. It was like this weird butterfly net catcher guy. Like, he looked like he had like a safari outfit on, complete with a hat, and he had a butterfly net, and he was just in the lobby. Like, there was no explaining this guy.
He was dressed like an English gentleman, Jack. I have to
well, like, it was like, he had like a trench coat on or something.
Yeah. He had like a pea coat on with like a white scarf underneath. He looked like I don't even know like what he looked like an English gentleman, like a some guy like you'd see in London or something. He reminded me of the dad from Punky Brewster a little bit.
Okay.
But he had this like weird net, and it was too big. It was too big to be like a fly swatter type of thing. It was like but it wasn't big enough to be like a fish net. And it's like, what is this for? Like, and like, yeah, we were thinking like, it's like, he looked like a British guy that they hired to like fumigate the place or like to catch a rat or something. But it's like, I don't know what this net was that he had, but like we were saying, like it was like a butterfly net or something. And like, in my mind, it's like they called him because like there was like like something that they had to catch inside of the hotel, and he was like wandering around and he was like looking for somebody. It seemed like he asked someone like something, and then he like walked off in another direction, and he ended up passing by us like 3 or 4 times, like in the like right around the bar area where we were kind of waiting for someone else to come by. But it was one of the more weirder things that we saw all weekend without any explanation. We never got any explanation of what was going on.
Nope, and never saw the guy again either. So no idea there. Just a couple other autographs we got in the lobby. Jody Davis was just chilling on like a chair and signing for a couple people. So I went over and got him. That was cool. But while I was getting Davis, Tyler Austin actually came down the escalator, and you got Tyler Austin on Friday.
You did, yeah. It was that was a funny interaction because like, yeah, you kind of went off and got Jody Davis. I was kind of saving him because for a table because I wanted an inscription from him. You came back and you gave the Soroka Hang 10 like success thing, and it was cool. Like you were like psyched to get Jody, and then like I felt bad because like I was like I wanted to tell you like I got Austin and I was like psyched up about that, but I didn't want to step on the Hang 10, so we kind of like revisited that. But the Austin, I was psyched about the Austin thing because in one way he is easy to spot, but another way he's not easy to spot. And like I got him, and I actually had to follow him all the way out to the front door and like then call for him, and he signed for me really quick, and that was cool. I think I spared him getting hung up by anybody else, but yeah, it was cool to get him. We would end up having another shot at him on Saturday, so I think things worked out there.
So the Oak was there, the hovering Oak, as he is every Cubs convention. So he had a bunch of bats with him, as usual, and so we ended up rolling with him first, kind of by the red carpet, and then he came down to the lobby for a little while with us and was hanging out there. And so yeah, he told us, Jeremy, I don't know if I interpreted this story correctly, but he said some of the players' kids were getting like PCA's autograph and then start charging $20 for it. Is that what he said? It was the players' kids who were doing that?
I think so. I was going to ask you the same thing. Like it was a hard story to follow. Like, you know, when you run into people that you know, you always run into them and then just ask them like, well, you know, you seen anybody? You get anybody? Like what's, you know, who you got so far? Anyone around? Whatever. You compare notes like real quick. And the Oak was saying like, yeah, I got so-and-so here. I got so-and-so there. And he's like, yeah, there were kids charging. And like, yeah, it was hard to, I like afterwards, like I was like, wait, what the hell was he talking about? And then he's like, yeah, he said, I think that's what it was. I think maybe it was like players' kids were charging money, or like random kids or something. That's the part that's unclear, but they were charging like $20 for PCA signed balls. And he's like, until like security figured it out and then kind of shut that down or whatever. So yeah. I don't know. It was just a weird little detail, but you know, so many things fly at you. You're kind of just like, you miss some stuff. You're like, what was that? So it was just a thing. But the Oak, you know, we interacted with the Oak a little bit there on Friday night.
We did.
We were kind of, I think at this point, you know, things were winding down. Like after Milner and Austin, things kind of went to a big lull, and we were maybe trying to catch like Bregman or like Rizzo after they were done with the Ryan Dempster show, but it wasn't really happening. They probably snuck out some like back door or something. I think the Oak even said like they took him out a back door. So we were about this point heading to the exit. We saw Mike Montgomery in the lobby, kind of near the bar, and was absolutely mobbed by people.
Oh God.
It was crazy. It was like, just like, I don't know, like 10, 12 people deep around him, like just holding stuff in the air for him to get signed. And it's like, Jesus,
from
man.
all sides.
Yeah.
It was bad. And I think he had one security guard initially, but eventually he got another one. I don't know how they ever got him out of there. Like it was just, it was a literal mob scene. It was crazy. I felt bad for him. He looked kind of overwhelmed, but also like, you know, he was playing it cool. We didn't even try to go up to him at that point. We would get him the next day. Felt bad for him. I guess maybe he learned his lesson for next time. And then at the very end, so we hung around the lobby, like the very front, at the front entrance for a couple more minutes. As you said, Jeremy, I think we were both kind of ready to call it a night. But what night would be complete without this last thing that happened? We see Tim Stoddard shuffle into the lobby, and then we went up to him and we're like, "Hey Tim, can you sign?" And he's like, I gotta go up to my room. And then he just shuffled away. And so once Tim Stoddard rejects you in the lobby, you know you're done for the night. But that's becoming a CubsCon tradition for us, Jeremy. I think it's happened 3 years in a row.
In the notes here, Jack, I wrote down Stoddard Shuffle. I was actually calling it the Stoddard Shuffle. Like, it's like, we used to call it, like, me and my friend at work, we used to like do this thing where like people would ask us something and I'd be like, oh, let me ask my co-teacher. And my co-teacher they'd ask him something and be like, oh, let me ask my co-teacher. Let me ask Jeremy. And then like, we would just not, you know, that's our way of getting them out of our hair. Sure. So we called it like the shuffle, like, so like the Stoddard Shuffle, I think, is like when he throws like, oh, I just got to go give something to somebody. And then he walks away. It's like, oh, I just got to run up to my room real quick. It's like, were you going to come back down to the same spot and sign for us then? Like, you know, he's just trying to get us out of there. So, I don't know. I think that's the Stoddard Shuffle.
Yeah. Whenever somebody says they're gonna go, like if a player told us, yeah, I'm just gonna go put this on the bus, and then they never come back out.
Yeah. Right.
I like it.
So that was the end of night one. You know, it's an exhausting night. It's the latest night of the whole convention, for us. And we don't stay late on Saturdays, but theoretically you could stay late on Saturday, but yeah. So that was night one.
Yeah.
Night. Yeah. Well, anything you want to say
Day
about
two, Jeremy, you once again got there before me. So this is Saturday, and keep in mind we got those season ticket holder passes. So most of the action today is actually going to happen at a different hotel, the Lowe's Hotel, which is slightly classier and one I had never been inside before. In fact, you can't even get inside there during CubsCon without flashing your wristband. Although I don't think the guy asked you initially, like the first time you went in there, from what you said. But anyway, most of the action takes place in a different hotel for Saturday.
Yeah, so I wanted to get there. Like Cade Horton was starting to sign at 9:30 there, so I got there. I don't know, like 8:45 or so, something like that, and I walk in and like I wanted to get there a little early because I just wanted to kind of scope it out and just know where I was going because yes, my first time walking into this hotel, and I see a line, I go up to them and I'm like, hey, is this the Horton line or what are you guys in line for? And they're like, we're in line for Swanson. Now Swanson was signing at 11:30. Jack, was that right?
Yep, 11:30.
11:30, and once we got the season ticket holder wristbands, we were like, okay, we gotta get Hap and we gotta get Swanson. These guys do not pick up a marker for adults or for anyone in Hap's case. No. So this is our only chance, and we gotta, like, if we didn't do this for that purpose, what did we do this for? Yep. So we kind of prioritized those two. Carlos Zambrano was signing, I think, at 10:30 that morning, and we really wanted him, but like we weren't sure if we were going to have to sacrifice him to get Swanson. Late Friday night, I looked and I saw that Zambrano was doing a different kind of signing at the season ticket holder lounge at 3:30. So I'm like, okay, well, we could get him at 3:30, commit to Swanson, and then still get Hap in the middle. So I get there and I see that these people say Swanson. And I'm like, damn, like that's a long commitment to like, and a long shutout to commit to Swanson. But I'm like, I thought about it for a second, just like when the guy messaged me about the wristbands. I'm like, okay, we got to do it. So I just like got in the line, and honestly, sometimes it's like get in line first and then think about what you want to do, because at least you're in line. So I follow the line down. It goes down this long hallway. And I'm walking, and then I see that it ending, and it ends right on this like at this nice leather couch. So the Lowe's is like it's a lot nicer. It's a lot smaller. It's a lot more compact, and maybe that's why it's nicer. But there was this hallway that the line went down, and there's all these like nice, comfy chairs and sofas and stuff. And this dude was sitting down, and there was one seat next to him. I'm like, oh, okay, this isn't a bad spot. I said out loud to this guy, I'm like, hey, not a bad spot to wait in line. He's like, yeah, right, nice couch. And so I sat down, and I'm kind of chilling on this couch. And you messaged me, so I'm like, okay, well, I'm here in line. It's cool, but like, I'm like, Jack isn't here, and it's like if we were both here, we could come up with a game plan to where someone can hold the line while the other person goes and gets an autograph. Now, Jack, you messaged me and you were like still on your way, but you were close. So I'm like, okay, well, that's once he gets here, maybe we can kind of figure something out. I'm like, okay, I'll be like, I'll hold the line. Like, I'll cover that for for us for right now. And you showed up, and like, I feel like this has happened before, Jack. I don't know if it's like, it's a little like, like holding a spot for someone. It can be kind of annoying. Like, if you're behind that person, cause it's like, hey, there was one person in front of me. Now there's two people in front of me. It's a little annoying. So like, I don't know, like there's been times when we were like going into Wrigley Field and I get there early and you usually just opt to kind of get in the back of the line or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. It's always like, that's like the easiest thing to do and the least like obtrusive thing to do. Right. So I think you kind of like, I did see you like looking for me and like, I thought you saw me, but you didn't really see me. So you ended up getting in the back of the line. So we were messaging and I'm like, I think you were maybe gonna just stay there, but I'm like, that would have been a really long time to just be like, separate, but like across the hallway from each other, basically.
Oh God, it would have been. So yeah, for about 2 minutes, I was like, oh, I'm just gonna stay here. But then also when I finally spotted you, I was like, holy shit, like we have 2.5 hours to go and he's way up there. Like, because you were way in front of me, man. That line between the time that you got there and the time that I got there, I'd say at least 70 to 100 people got in that line. And it's like, Jesus, man, we still got 2.5 hours left. So I
wasn't quite sure how far back you were.
Yeah, man, I was pretty damn far back, and I was like, screw it, I'm just gonna go hang out with Jeremy. And then like right before that though, the lady sitting next to me was like, could you watch my stuff? And so maybe I exaggerated when I said 2 minutes, Jeremy. I was probably hanging by myself for about 5 to 10 minutes. So this lady leaves to go check out some merchandise table, and she's gone for like 5 minutes. And in that time, I was like, maybe I should go up to Jeremy. So like, I was just like, fuck this lady. And so I just went over by you, and like I didn't end up watching her stuff. But it's like, you ask somebody to watch your stuff, you should be gone for like 1 minute if it's a stranger, Like don't ask somebody to watch your stuff and then leave for 20 minutes. That's not it's not fair to anybody. So whatever. Never ran into that lady again.
It's funny because like, it's like either like, that means just like, oh, could you watch my stuff? I'm going to go walk across the hallway to this garbage can and throw something out. Right. Or if you're going to be gone, say like, could you watch my stuff for like 5 minutes? I want to look over here really quick and then I'll be back. Like, try to give a little bit of, time frame. I will say that later on we were asked to watch stuff, and I did say to the guy, I'm like, well, I might get out of here or whatever. So like that was the thing, but then it all worked out. This is the wagon man. So
yes.
So yeah. So anyway. So yeah, I was in line, and I kind of said, like, I texted you. I'm like, I think the move kind of would be like if we could take turns holding the spot while the other person gets autographs. And yeah, you ended up kind of coming by me, and then that worked out. So you were in line, and at this point I had already made friends with all the people around me. I started talking to them. And there was this old timer guy who was next to me. At first, like the guy who was sitting on the couch was like a guy maybe in his like late 40s, early 50s. And then this old timer guy came by, and it turned out it was his father-in-law. So I was talking to the two of them for a while. But the guy, when I was talking to him, the subject of Rick Sutcliffe had come up. The subject of just about autographs had come up. And he had kind of gone in on Sutcliffe, like saying how Sutcliffe was an asshole and wouldn't sign for him. And so I kind of teed him up for that when you showed up, Jack. I said so Jack sat down, and I leaned over to this guy. I don't even think I ever got his name, but I was like, hey, my buddy here also got rejected by Rick Sutcliffe. He's like, you want to tell him about your experience? And,
that was music to this guy's ears, because Jeremy, even after you left to go get I'm not sure, maybe it was Hollowell, like the guy started talking to me, and he's like, oh yeah, Sutcliffe though, people are starting to find out about him. They're starting to find out about what an asshole he is. I don't even ask him anymore. People know about him now. Like this guy hated Rick Sutcliffe, man.
Yeah, he was going on. He's like, yeah, I was standing by there. I was at Kerry Wood's charity fundraiser, and Sutcliffe walked right by me, and I asked him for an autograph, and he kept right walking, didn't even look at me. And then he's like, did you see him last night at the ceremony? He didn't shake hands with anybody. And he was just going on and on. The subject of Lee Smith also came up, because he was actually, Jack, this guy had a Lee Smith autograph ball, and he wanted him to add Hall of Fame on it. Yeah. Like the same dilemma that I had last year and this year actually, but I ended up not even going there. But and he's like, I got 3. He's like, I got 2 Lee Smith autographs. Last year I brought the ball, and he wouldn't add the Hall of Fame, so I just had him sign another ball. And he's like, I don't want to do that again. I'm gonna end up with 3 Lee Smith balls. And he's like, and it's his wife too, who's the one who's telling him not to. It's like that wife of his, she's nasty. Like, she's just not nice. Like, she's telling him what to do. She's running the whole thing. And I was like, yeah, man, I've experienced this. Like, I know exactly what you're talking about. He's like, yeah, she's telling him what to do. He's like, if it were me, I'd say, hey, listen, honey, like, I'm the ball player. Like, let me say what I do or whatever. And it's like, instead, she's calling all the shots. And he was just going on about Lee Smith's wife and Rick Sutcliffe. And it was really funny to kind of get him started on all that.
Yeah, well, especially because, like, other people have experienced this too. We're not the only, especially with Lee Smith's wife, like, we're not the only 2 people who've been burned by that.
Yeah, totally. So, So that was funny. Yeah, so we can talk about the season ticket holder thing now. And Jack, you were saying it. It's like it's gonna be hard to come back from that. Like,
Yeah.
it was just a such much more like civilized experience, like a humane experience. Like when you're in the public lines in the bottom of the hotel, you're just like, I am at least, just I'm in one line and out the other, like in one out the other, and just like just back and forth. And like I don't have time to, I barely have, like I'll try to time a bathroom break. If I have to get in another line, I'll just go to the other line. So I barely take maybe one bathroom break per day. I don't eat. I bring snacks at least, but like I don't ever leave the hotel. And like, you've taken some couple breaks in the past, but I don't do it. And so like,
Yep.
it's grueling. And so at least here at the season ticket holder line, you could like run to the the bathrooms were very close by to where the autographs were. For the public lines, you have to leave the whole convention hall and go down the hallway to a bathroom. Like here, you can actually like go out, and then they have this lounge where they have snacks. They have like water, and they have like coffee and tea, and they have like chips and protein bars and stuff. And so I actually got like a Cliff Bar, and I got like a nice like cucumber water, and like it was humane. Like it actually was like, oh my God, this is like I feel like a human being. Like I'm getting sustenance. And
it's clutch, man, because I was kind of dehydrated at one point in the day, and they had that cucumber water that you could just take as much of as you wanted. It was fantastic.
Yeah. It was really nice. And so I go into this season ticket holder lounge, and like I was talking to the guy in front of me, and again, he didn't know crap about what he was talking about. This was the first time that they've done this since the pandemic, so I assumed like a lot of people probably hadn't experienced this before. But they had this lounge, and I go into the lounge, and guys were signing in the lounge. So I had seen James Triantos walk into this lounge. So I walk in there, and like, yeah, there's just two desks in the corner of the room, and Triantos is sitting at one with his like girlfriend or wife or whatever, and Gavin Hollowell sitting at another. There was like three people in front of Hollowell, like literally three people, and Triantos, there was no one in front of him. So I just walk up to Triantos, and I get his autograph. I'm like, hey, James, can you sign? He's like, yeah, sure. And he signs for me, and then I go to Hollowell, and he's got like no one in front of him, so I got him. And then I just, I went and got the Cliff Bar and came back, like wandered back out to you, and it was just like a dream. It was like a paradise, like a dream come true. Like you just wander in, get some snacks, get some water, and get a couple of autographs. And it was awesome. And then I think like I tagged you out, and you went in.
Yep.
Did you go in for Austin, or were you in before him?
Because I had a Triantos, and you were like, yeah, nobody's at there for Triantos. I just went up and got Triantos. So
okay,
I
yeah.
actually I got him first, and then later I got Tyler Austin. I might as well talk about that now. That was a funny interaction with Tyler Austin, because he was like, I have a minor league card of his. It's from like 2013 maybe. It's from a while ago. But anyway, I give it to him, and he's like, oh, what number am I? I was like, what number was I when I was on that team? And I was like, oh, geez, man, I don't know. And then he was like, I was like, well, what? He's like, well, what number do you want me to put on here? I was like, well, what number were you on the Brewers? And he's like, oh, what number was I on the Brewers? And he's like, 31. But he didn't even really sound sure about it. But he just wrote 31 on my card, which is cool. So I still haven't looked up what number he was on the Brewers. But anyway, kind of cool that he was a funny guy, and like he was down for like interaction and conversation. So I feel like if he actually makes the roster, and there'll be an opportunity to get him again and interact with him. So he was nice. And I think with Hollowell, Jeremy, you missed a golden opportunity to quote Cole Wright at him, because that had just been said. You should get an inscription with Hollowell that says "You know me." I don't know if you would get it at this point, but that would be good.
That is, oh man, that's pretty good. I'm kicking myself a little bit. Yeah, he was nice. Actually, you know what? I did forget to say one thing about Hollowell. Or actually, no, I have it here. I think it got marked off, but I did get Hollowell I made another custom for Hollowell, and I put it out in front of him, and I said, yeah, hey, I made this card of you. Like, you don't have any Cubs cards yet, so I wanted to get you on the Cubs uniform. And he signs it. And now let me just say before I do that, I did get these new markers that I've been trying out. So Stadler is like an alternate to Sharpie, and it's actually like what Topps uses when they like send cards to players to sign that they put in packs. They send them Stadlers. So they usually send them fine points, and like a year or two ago, I got Ray Burris. I think it was last year. I had him use a fine point Stadler, and Burris was like taken aback by the marker. He's like, "Wow, this is a nice marker." And so I was like looking forward to kind of doing that again. It was a little too busy this time to kind of get into that, but I did have him sign with the fine point Stadler. But I got these medium point ones, which are a little thicker, obviously, and like they're actually like almost like better than the fine points. So anyway, put this custom card in front of Hollowell. He mentioned the thing, and he goes like, "Oh yeah, that's a nice card," and he's like, "That's a damn nice marker." and I'm like, "Yeah, man, yeah, it is." I'm like, "That's the kind of Topps uses." He's like, "Oh yeah, really nice." And so it was just funny to kind of like have that, have a different player remark on that. I'm hoping for one a year I can get someone to kind of talk about the Stadler marker.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, Jack, it's funny. I just looked at. I don't know if you did too. But Tyler Austin was 29 on the Brewers.
That's funny.
He was actually 31 on the Twins, so
okay.
That's funny.
Similar geographically, I guess, but I'll have to. That's hilarious. Yeah, you got to wonder, these guys who bounced around and played on so many teams. Maybe they don't remember if they can't get the same number all the time. But that's awesome. A little maybe an error card on the autograph there.
Well, yeah, I guess it just, because I mean, he was, I think that the minor league card, it was with the Yankees organization, but
yes,
so basically sometimes players, a lot of times if they're signing like a ball or like a program, they'll put the number so you can identify who they are, but a card, they don't necessarily have to do that. Some players still do that. A couple of years ago, I got Dylan Floro when he was with the Marlins, but it was on a Dodgers card, and he put his Dodgers number on there. So it's kind of a cool little Easter egg or feature or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's cool. Like, and then a guy like Austin, he's worn 4 different numbers with 4 different teams. So he just didn't remember, which is funny. So yeah. So you ended up with a Twins autograph instead of a Brewers autograph, Jack. But it's still pretty cool.
Right. Too bad. But yeah. So after all that, not much happened until we actually got Dansby. So for the record, when I showed up around, it was a little after 9 a.m. I asked the usher, "Hey, where's the Dansby line?" And he's like, he's not signing for 2.5 hours, right? I was like, "I do." So I was there for at least 2.5 hours, Jeremy. You were there for longer than that. So when we said that we were going all in for these autographs, like, we went all in. I've never waited that long for an autograph. I don't know if I would do it again for Dansby next year. I'd do it for someone else. But we put in work to get both him and Ian Happ later. So I have no shame in getting this one. It was pretty sweet. I didn't really say anything to him. So, Jeremy, one thing let's just say about these, for Dansby and Happ specifically, is that there was such high demand for them that the security, the Cubs staff were allowing only allowing one item per to be signed, and no pictures. And I think the no pictures thing is so critical. It makes the line move twice as fast, because most people get an autograph and a picture. So it's like each interaction is at least 30 seconds. Dansby just plowed through these, and we were in the Dansby overflow, and we still got him with plenty of time.
Yeah, it's weird, Jack. I mean, I've heard them say that before, no pictures, and they just don't enforce it usually. And
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, so I'm trying to even think back, though, like, Jack, like, so I guess there were no, like, posed pictures, but people were still taking pictures. Like, they were still, like
they were taking
it, like,
photos while he was signing, but there were no, like you said, no posed pictures, which is what takes a long time.
Yeah, right. So, they didn't move fast. I was thinking, I was, like, confident that Dansby Swanson's line would move fast just because he would not be interacting with people because he doesn't really have much to say. And that was also true.
Yes.
So, yeah, the line moved quick. I get up to Dansby. So was I first, Jack? I can't remember.
You did go first this time, I think.
Yeah, so I went first, and I felt like I had to say something. So I said, like, I've been trying a long time to get you, Dansby. And he goes like, well, it worked out today. And he like nodded, and I'm like, I nodded, and then I walked away. And like part of me couldn't help but feel like it was kind of like a wink. Like he's like, hey man, I know you're a grapher. I've seen you around, and
Right.
you know, and we both know that I won't sign for you. So I guess you slip one past the goalie today, and you got my autograph, but don't get used to it. Like,
Sure.
I think that was the whole subtext of like of him saying, well, it worked out today. So, it was funny, and like, yeah, I am relieved that he's done. I went back and I looked at the roster from last year, and I think I probably have the autograph of everyone who appeared in at least like, 10, like 15 or more games. I would say like 10 or more games. Like,
Yeah.
Getting now Dansby and we'll talk about Hap in a second here, but it was a huge relief to kind of get him knocked out. We almost got him last year, came up short, but this year with the season ticket holder bracelet, it kind of ensured that and waiting for 3 hours. I will say that the 3 hour wait, Jack, was a lot easier with the fact that we could go in and out. I ended up getting like Triantos, Gavin Hollowell, Tyler Austin, and Riley Martin during that 3 hours that we waited for Dansby. So like the tagging in and out, like holding spots was key. And you ended up getting Porter Hodge too.
I did. I didn't even mention that. But yeah, I got 3 autographs during that time, and you got 4.
Yeah, so that helped. We also got like sustenance. We got to sit down on a couch. So like, I will say it was 3 hours, but it could have been a lot worse. And that was all because of the season ticket holder wristband. So that was cool. So yes, we got Dansby, got him knocked out of the way. Then we ended up, we ran across the street really quick, kind of checked that out, decided to come back. We did run into the wagon train guy, and he was this is where he like tried to like get us to hold his spot in line, and then he's like, oh, we got someone else to hold our line, man, it's cool. And that person never showed up, Jack. I think you got stuck there, didn't you?
Yeah, I don't know what he was, because he alluded to some other person who was going to watch their stuff, but like, yeah, he never showed up. So this was another situation where I just needed a break. So I was happy to just sit down and, sit on my ass while he went somewhere. But the guy kept coming and going, and he was like, oh, I want to get Dawson now. And I was like, well, isn't Dawson only signing until, for a half hour or whatever? And it was already like, 20 minutes after he started signing. He's like, I don't think so, man. And then he looked and he's like, oh, no, you're right. Dawson is only signing for a half hour. And then I think he went to go get Jackson Wiggins or something. The dude was a mess. He was all over the place. But this is what I was talking about when like the line started moving and like all of his shit was there. And I was like, Jeremy, his stuff is there. You're like, come on, man. Like it's fine. It doesn't matter. So yeah.
Yeah, I know. I was just like, I just like motioned my hand. I'm like, come on.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Well, it's like Ian Happ's line started moving early. So Happ was supposed to start at 2:30. To quote an usher, he was gracious enough to start at 2:00. It's like, all right, like, let's not like blow this out of proportion here. Like, great. He started signing early. It was cool. Whatever. Yeah, we had to get in there, and I was like, I don't want to miss Ian Happ just because like this guy's got his shit here. So ultimately, I didn't, and we got in line for Happ. When we got in line for Happ, we saw that Dennis was in the front of the line. And I don't know how the hell he got there, man. Because, like, we didn't see him in the front of the Hap line when we got in line.
Yeah, no, he just kind of appeared out of nowhere. That was our first Dennis sighting of the whole weekend. We didn't see him at all Friday. It was weird. So he was there. I'm sure someone was holding his place too. But the whole thing, like, so I had gone to get Jackson Wiggins, and like, that whole thing with the Hap thing really quick, just to go back to it, was like crazy, like in my experience, because I saw people starting to come in. I'm like, oh shoot, like they're going to let people in for Hap. I don't want to have to like kind of like go through the line. And I pretty much, I was second in line to get Wiggins. So I knew I was going to get him right away. I ended up coming out of the convention hall area, and there was like no one in line yet. And then I turned the corner and like I saw you like kind of perplexed, like, or trying to decide like what to do. Do I stop? And like the line had moved, but you were kind of still in the same spot. And like his wagon was holding up the whole section basically, and I'm like, dude, come on, like, yeah. So that was funny, and then like it was weird, whatever. So it was a whole weird thing, but we get in the Hap line, we get to the front, and we see that Nick, security guard Nick, is there on stage with Hap, and we're like, oh yeah, that's right. Well, Hap is. What is it? Hap is Nick's guy, as he said. He's like, that's my guy, like Hap. So he was with Hap the whole time, and he was standing up there like a Secret Service agent. Like he looked like he was ready to like jump in front of a bullet if someone tried to assassinate Hap. Like he looked like legit. Yeah.
Well, thankfully Hap wouldn't interact with somebody enough for anything like that to ever happen. So yeah, we got him too. And that might have even been more of a white whale than Swanson. Nick did acknowledge us, Jeremy. I think you made eye contact with him first, and then he kind of nodded to both of us. And I wasn't sure, because I was debating this as well. You're like, I want to bring Nick into the interaction I have with him. But I was like, I don't know, that just it was just too much for me to like say hi to Nick and also Ian Happ. So I was like, I can say hi to Nick anytime I want. I want to just like have this moment with Ian Happ. I didn't really say anything to him. I just said, hey man, I got you up top right here. He signed for me. Jeremy, for a guy who dislikes signing as much as Happ, you'd think maybe his autograph would at least be nice. It's like maybe he doesn't like signing because his autograph is so complicated and nice like Steve Carsey's is. But it's like, no, man, his auto kind of looks like shit, but it looks fine on this card, and I got him, so it's over with.
Yeah, it's pretty similar to what his like pack pulled looks like.
It is, yeah.
So yeah, it was nice. I got him on a really nice card, so that was cool. He was nice to me. I will say, I think I said like, hey, I've always been a big fan, and he's like, thank you, like, and you can kind of see he like broke out of the normal like just like thing to actually acknowledge it. So that was cool. I mean, I think Hap is like, generally speaking, like he seems very cool. Like in interviews, he seems pretty thoughtful. I don't listen to his podcast, but I remember when he became like the Cubs player rep, I was like, oh, this guy actually like seems intelligent and like seems to have like a good head on his shoulders. He just never signs, which makes it easy for you to not like him. But it was a cool interaction. I was happy with it. I wanted to say to Hap, like, hey, is this guy taking good care of you? Like about Nick. But like last year, I think I said to, or maybe that was 2 years ago, I said to Nick, I'm like, oh, you didn't cancel? Like, whatever. I tried to make some kind of joke, and he didn't really seem to get the joke. And I think just when he's at Cubs convention, he's too business oriented. So I was like, it's not even worth trying to bring him in because it would just be confusing for everybody, I think. So I kept it simple.
Yeah, you said, you didn't cancel, and Nick went, I never cancel. And then that was the end of the interaction.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, and it's like, that's not quite the like lighthearted interaction I thought we'd have there, but it was what it was. So, okay. So moving along, Zambrano pretty much was up next. I mean, there was some other things in between, but let's go to Zambrano next. We were in line in this season ticket holder section for Zambrano. That was the move right after Hap. Yeah, we were in line. My friend Comer ended up kind of coming and meeting us, and so we were kind of standing there. Like I was talking to him. And they had put out like new snacks at this point in the season ticket holder lounge, and like people mobbed the snack bar just like they mobbed Mike Montgomery the night before.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe the vultures were gonna pick the snack table clean, but I went over and like I got like I said to you guys, this is maybe my own fatal flaw for asking if you needed anything, but I said, you guys need anything, and like. I don't know if I didn't hear what you said, and I thought Comer said, sure, whatever they have. And so I'm like, well, that doesn't help that much. But so I went over to the table, I picked up 2 bags of chips, and then like they have actual plates, like actual like ceramic plates, and they had like a whole fruit spread. So I got like a bunch of like strawberries and or watermelon and pineapple, and like a real fork. It's like a real human being. So I got this plate of fruit, and I was going to eat this fruit. And as I'm coming back, the fucking Zambrano line starts moving. And I have like my chair. I have my bag, which weighed fucking 20 pounds. And I have 2 bags of chips and this plate of fruit in my hand. And like you and Comer had moved up like about halfway across the room, like a good, like, I don't know, 30 feet or something like that. And I was trying to like, and Comer looked back at me and he's like, do you need help? And I think I said no, but I'm like, I clearly needed help. I couldn't like, and I'm like, how the fuck do I my hands were full and like I had to pick up a 20-pound bag and like a folding stool. I'm like, what the fuck do I do here? And like I bent over and like some of the juice from like the fruit spilled on the carpet, and I'm just like, and like I was holding up the whole line. I'm like, I just gotta like move this stuff. And so like I don't know what I did, but I like turned my hand into like a claw and I just like grabbed my stuff and I just like dragged it across the floor, and it was just like crazy. And then I go to Jack. I'm like, I got these chips for you, and Jack goes like, oh, no thanks.
Hey man, I didn't ask you for. I think that was Calmer, your buddy Q, man. But that was funny though, Jeremy. I will say 3 times this day it happened where you like went away from the line for a second, and then the line moved. It was just like some sort of curse. The last time it happened was actually like the worst time, but we'll get to that.
Wow.
Yeah, but I felt bad for you because you were juggling all that stuff. Anyway, we got
next time just take the chips. If you don't want to, just take them.
I just eat them later. They were sealed. I should have, it was a nice gesture. I'm sorry.
I actually ended up eating them later in line, and they came in clutch, which was good. But just real quick, like it was the Hap line, the Zambrano line, and then Mike Montgomery would happen a little bit later. But like,
yep.
Each time was like, the Hap one was like the worst one because I was away from my post. The second, the Zambrano one, I just walked across the room. It was like, I didn't like even try to, like, I didn't even leave sight of the spot, but it just moved. And then the third time I went to go to the bathroom. That'll come up in just 1 second. But anyway, so yeah, we get up there. Zambrano eventually enters the room. He starts signing. We get up there. And Jack, you had a funny interaction with Carlos Zambrano.
I did, because I had Carlos Pena as well, like, because sometimes you bring the marquee guys just in case they're there. So I had those 2 guys right next to each other because I do alphabetical order by first name. And so Zambrano signs his card. The autograph looks great. I got him on his 2006 Topps Heritage. And then he almost signed my Carlos Pena card too. But he looked at it for a second. He was like, "Oh, Carlos Pena, good guy." And then I was like, yeah. And then I walked away. But if I run into Carlos Pena now, I got to tell him, like, hey, I got Carlos Zambrano's autograph, and he said you were a good guy. So that would be that would be good. Jeremy, I did miss the opportunity, you're right, to say, like, yeah, man, hey, I knew a guy fell ass backwards into Carlos Pena. But that would have been too much for Zambrano to take. So, but yeah, that was a really, really good one, Jeremy. I wasn't expecting to get him, so I'm really happy about that. That might be my favorite one of the whole convention.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was like one of those things where it's like, I think at some point we may have even made peace with not getting him, and then just maybe getting Swanson and Happ. And so the fact that we ended up able to get him was really, really cool. I agree. He's up there with me as well. One of my favorites. So that was really cool. And he was just a funny presence in the room. He kind of looked like De Niro or something bit, like with his like facial expressions, just like he's got like a meaty face. He always has. So it was funny. I did not mention that we saw him give up a bomb at Chicago Dogs because that probably would have pissed him off. But it was funny. So then, I think basically the next move after that, we went back to the main convention hall in the season ticket holder line, and we got in line for Mike Montgomery. We were in line, and the line went outside of the hall into the hallway. And I did. That's when I ate those chips, and then I had to go wash my hands. And so I ran to the bathroom, and I was like looking, and I'm like, okay, I got enough time here, and like let me run to the bathroom and just kind of take a breath. And I come out and I see people like this, the line still coming out the door, and I turn the corner, but like the line had ended, and I was like, what the hell? Like, I'm like, oh shoot, Jack is in there. And so I did a 180 really quick, and I kind of ran up to the line, and right at the beginning of you get in this queue, that zigzag queue, and they give you like a ticket, like a actual like physical ticket, like they used to give you, and it'll say like stage A, 230, whatever. And I kind of, you were already kind of like almost midway through the line. So I had to kind of like zigzag my way through. I get to the front, I get to the entrance, and there's a Cubs lady there. And I think she looks at me like, what the hell are you trying to do? And I'm like, oh, my friend's up there. And I go through, and she's like, oh, okay. And then I just go through, and then like I get to you, and you go like, oh, did you get a ticket? And I was like, shit, no, I didn't get a ticket. So then I go back to her. I have to wind my way through to the back, and I'm like, oh, actually, I didn't get a ticket. And she's like, well, if you came by me, you would have gotten a ticket. And again, I had like a million thoughts in like 2 seconds. And I was like, okay, well, if I say I didn't, is she going to make me go to the back of the line? And I'm like, can I explain this to her? Like, I thought she knew what happened. So I just turned around and I went back by you. I was already in line. So yeah, I didn't want to risk it.
No, it was a mess, Jeremy. Because like when you decided to go to the bathroom, initially we had only been in that line for like 2 minutes, and not 2 minutes later the line started moving into the ballroom. So like it was just crazy how fast we actually got in there. I didn't even have time to text you or anything, because like you had left. You were so sure that the line would not move because we had barely been there, that like you left all your stuff there. So like I had to grab your book and your backpack, and like I don't know if you got like a bunch of 50-pound dumbbells in your backpack. Like your backpack was heavy, and like I had your backpack, your book, my backpack, my book. Like I had all of this shit, and was like, I think people felt sorry for me. They were kind of like helping me out. It was insane, man. But like you said, I had to like keep moving because I was already at least halfway deep in that line. So like that line, it filled up fast behind me. So I had to maintain that spot.
There you go. I guess that's the parallel then of what happened with the Zambrano thing. So it was the other side of that coin, I guess. while I was like leisurely blow drying my hands in the bathroom.
Oh God. But it was it was a bad scene. I think there was some worry that you would get stopped when you went up for Montgomery. It didn't happen, which is good. One guy who was in front of us, and we have to mention him because we haven't mentioned him yet, was the Peoria Mope. So we saw the Peoria Mope a bunch of times.
Saw him a lot, yeah.
We saw him a lot. I mean, yeah, once you recognize one of these people and interact with them, like you'll see them like 15 times throughout the weekend. That's just how it goes. No matter if there's 8,000 people or whatever. But yeah, so we saw this guy. But so he goes up to get Montgomery, and I never noticed this before, but he just kind of Peoria Mope just kind of struts wherever he's going. So he gets Montgomery, and then he just struts away after he gets him. It's like Peoria Mope has nothing to be strutting about.
No,
like if there's
he I was gonna say he strutted up to the table to get him too. Like
he did.
I'm only saying this to just describe the strut. Like he's a bigger guy with like a big belly, and he just kind of struts his back. Imagine his back being straight, and he has this like big belly, and he's just swinging his arms side to side, like in front of him, like just swinging front back, and like it's like this little strut that he does right up to the table to get Montgomery's autograph, and it's just a funny sight.
It is. Folks, if you watch The Chair Company, he's at his limit. The Peoria Mope. So, and if you don't get that reference, you should watch The Chair Company because it's good. But yeah, so just had to bring him up because it's remarkable. 8,000 people at this convention, but there might as well be 20 for how much we run into the same people. It's insane. Maybe, Jeremy, it's because we're trying to get autographs, and just like the same subset of people are the ones trying to get all the autographs. I don't know.
I think so. It's funny, but and then once you're aware of someone, you just can't shake them. So
no.
Yeah, we even saw that jerk from the red carpet who was.
Oh God, yeah. That was another guy we just couldn't shake. Wouldn't have even recognized him if I hadn't had the initial interaction. So yeah, it's just one of those. Just another thing about CubsCon. But anyway, yeah, we both got Montgomery. Both autographs turned out good. So then we were able to get into Montgomery quick enough. And we were like, okay, well, we want to go back to the Sheridan. I had a cool Ryan Sweeney card that I wanted to get signed. So we go over there. Sweeney's supposed to be signing till 5 o'clock. I get down to the Sweeney line at 4:42, and Sweeney was still signing. He still had a small number of people in his line. And I said to the usher, I was like, oh, hey, is this for Ryan Sweeney? And they're like, nope, we're cutting the Sweeney line off. I was like, oh, I thought he was signing till 5. They're like, no, we're cutting it off at 4:40. And it was 4:42, and he was still signing, and it wouldn't have killed anybody if, like, I could have got, one more person would have gotten Ryan Sweeney's autograph. It's not like there was a bum rush for it. It's not like it was the Dansby Swanson line. So ridiculous, Jeremy. Just more poor guest service.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. It's like there was, I think, literally like 2 or 3 people in line. He was still on stage. There was still 18 minutes left. It was literally 4:42, and like there was 2 of us, and like it's not like he just got up and walked away and we're asking them to call him back. Like it's like, dude, like, or it's not like a group of like, 100 people showed up and like the line is almost full. It's like, no, man, it's 2 people. We would, by the time we got up to that front of that queue, he would have been done with those 3 people, and like we could have just been in and out. It was really dumb, and it was really just the principle of the matter. I was gonna get him too because I had cards for him. I didn't need them, but it was literally just the principle of the matter. Have you gotten them before or not?
I have, but
Okay.
the card I have him on is a card I would very much like to get him on. But I think I got him the first either the first or second year we went to CubsCon. So yeah, I didn't need him either, but it would have been nice to get one more autograph. From his perspective too, he probably would have been fine with it. It's probably embarrassing for these guys when they don't go the full hour with like a full line.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not embarrassing. They probably don't care that much, but like still, it's better than no one showing up to your autograph.
Yeah, for sure. Jack, I can say one thing because Sweeney ended up signing on Sunday, and I did end up getting him, but this is a consolation. I got the same card signed, and he signed over his face. So
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So that might be a small consolation. In fact, if you do ever get him, you should just ask him like, hey, could you sign down below your face or
Sure.
something? Because
Okay.
I'm like, there was enough room there for him not to do it, and he went right over like his mouth, and I was like, oh man, come on. But,
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, well, wait, who did we get?
We got Stoddard and Otto and Remlinger.
Yeah.
Those were the
Okay.
3 guys we got. And actually, the Remlinger was sweet. So that was... and I got Dave Otto with a blue marker. The guy tried to use his friggin' black marker, but I redirected him. So I finally righted that wrong from a couple of years ago with Otto. Got Stoddard and Remlinger. Remlinger was awesome to get.
Yeah, Remlinger is probably one of my favorites. It's up there with the Zambrano just because he was like the kind of like oddball of this year who like... got a random invite. He and it was just kind of cool to get him. So you took off at this point, Jack.
Yep.
I stuck around because I just wanted to get Steve Traxel, and he was signing. And so I got there's a rookie card of Traxel and Turk Wendell rookie cards. It's like a duo card, and they both signed through the mail. I had gotten Turk Wendell to sign a couple last month or so, and then I sent the card to Traxel. I sent it at the beginning of December, and I still haven't gotten that card back, so I'm a little worried that it might be like lost in the mail now. So I brought another one with me just for the heck of it to get Traxel on it and to send it to Turk Wendell now. I got up there. I asked him if he could sign both of them, and he's like, he looked at the dual one. He's like, oh yeah, Turk, and he signed it, and I'm like, yeah, I want to try to get Turk on this too, and have him complete it. And he's like, yeah, something. He's like, I get this card a lot, and it's usually after Turk signs it, and every time I get it, there's this little corner of the card that's drawn in marker, and it's true. Turk Wendell, when you send him a card in the mail to sign, he'll put a little, he'll color in the corner, the bottom corner of the card, a little triangle like in the corner, and I guess it's not confirmed, but like some people think that he does it just so he knows that he signed through the mail in case someone tries to like sell it or whatever. Okay. He sees it on eBay. Honestly, it could just be because he's weird and he just does it. I don't know, but Traxel said that, and I'm like, I know about that, Steve, and I'm like, yeah, that's just something he does, like, and I'm like, I think people say like, I said like that's kind of the talk of the autograph scene. I'm like, people know that he does, it's a known thing, and I'm like, I think he does it like so he knows, like in case people try to sell it or something. And Traxel like goes like, yeah, I always forget to mention it to him when I see him at Mets camp or whatever, or Mets events. And I said that to him, and he kind of made this face like, he's like, that's kind of weird. And I'm like, well, Turk's an interesting guy. And he goes, he is. And I'm like, all right, Steve, thank you. And then I got out of there. But
Nice.
it was kind of a funny, it was kind of a cool interaction with Wendell, or with Traxel. So that was the end of my day. Then I probably left like, I don't know, 15 minutes after you, 15, 20 minutes after
Sure.
you. But I did take a minute to just chill and like gather my stuff, and then I left. And I walked. I had to walk to the Brown line, and it was this crazy walk, and it was pretty cold and windy and snowy at that point.
It was, yeah.
But I got to the Brown line, and I'm riding home, and I was just like, I was looking over the notes and kind of filling in, events where I missed them or whatever, and it was kind of like the end of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles when Steve Martin and John Candy finally part ways, and like. Steve Martin is like remembering all of the events, and then they just show like flashbacks of like the movie that you just saw, which is kind of funny. But I was just getting all these glimpses of like the ridiculous things that happened over the last 2 days, and it was just kind of like laughing to myself or like shaking my head. I was doing all the reactions that Steve Martin does in that montage.
Sure.
And it was pretty funny just to kind of like step outside of myself and like kind of realize that's what was going on basically.
That's funny, Jeremy, and I mean, you really do realize that just for these couple of days, you are in this completely different world that has nothing to do with anything else that's going on in your life. Like you're here, you're just completely encompassed in CubsCon, and you never know what you're in store for. Yeah,
most definitely. It's just a crazy weekend. Just to round things off, I ended up going back on Sunday, which it's funny, Jack. I like legitimately, I looked at the schedule and I was like, there's nobody here that I need today.
Yeah.
Like this is just for the heck of it. It's just for the love of the game. But you're in for a penny, in for a pound. So I went and, just try to get what I could get. Let's see. I'm trying to pull my things here. So I ended up getting Ryan Sweeney. So I'll say this real quick. I was in line. Mike Montgomery was signing that morning. I actually brought another card for Montgomery, and I was thinking about just getting him to sign it. But I showed up, and his line was pretty deep at that point. I think the autographs start at 9:00, and I think just like people who like are staying at the hotel and like in the area, just come down early and just try to line up early for the first guy, just for the sake of doing it, basically. So I was kind of prepared for the 9 a.m.s to be rough. Zambrano was also signing, and so a bunch of people were at Zambrano. And I had another interaction with Wedgehead, and it was the same thing that happened with Tucker. I was in line, and I'm still mad about the Tucker thing a year later. The guy is a Los Angeles Dodger at this point, and I'm still mad about it because he turned people away who would have gotten Tucker's autograph, and it's just bullshit. And so he literally went up to us in line, and he's like, guys, you're not getting Mike Montgomery. He's like, so you want to go? You're gonna need to go another line. Just get someone else's autograph because you're not getting Montgomery. And he's like, but what we need to do right now is we need to clear this area because it's a fire hazard. So we're gonna need you to move. And I just looked at him and I'm like, okay, just tell us where to go. Because, I'm like, we don't want to block the exit. We don't want to be a fire hazard. So just tell us where to stand. And he looks at me and he looked at me. It looked like it was like, in like boxing, like the weigh-in when they like go face to face with each other. He looked at me like he wanted to punch me in the face. Like he was about to punch me in the face. And I was just like looking at him and I'm waiting for him to say something, like to tell us where to go. And he just like, he didn't say anything and he just walked away. All right. I don't even know what he did. I turned away from him at some point because he was just like, he had this fucking shit. The expression shit eating grin. Like I want to go beyond that. It's like he already ate the shit and he like had the shit like on his face or something. It's like, what the fuck? Like it was insane. It was insane. It's like, it looked like I was about to get into a fight. And I'm like, you work for the Cubs. You were like, this is a fans festival. And like, no one is being hostile here except for you. What is going on here? And so like, I was like just thinking about last year and I'm like, I'm not going to let this guy like tell me what to do. And it's like, why not just be solution oriented? It's like, if you want to wait, just tell us where to go. Like, so we're not a fire hazard. It's like, I don't want to be a fire hazard. Like if God forbid a fire happened and like I was blocking the way the Mitch Hedberg has a great joke about being a fire hazard. It's like I'm not a fire hazard because I'm going to move. Essentially, is what his joke is.
Sure.
It's like if somehow there was a fire and I was standing in the way and people died because I was standing there. I don't want that. I'm not trying to do that. I'm not trying to kill people in a fire. So tell me where to stand. Just let's and you know what the solution was is to take like 3 steps to the left and stand along the wall. And it's like that's the solution. And instead of doing that, he like looked at me like he was going to punch me in the face. And it's like this is insane. So I'm fully planning to like message the Cubs just for the heck of doing it.
Yeah.
Because like it's just ridiculous. It's like he's like intimidating people. He's like trying to scare people, and it's like, dude, you are working for the Cubs. This is a fan convention for the fans, and you're like just like terrorizing these people. And it's like, what is your role here? Is this what your role is to like scare people? Like, because that seems counterintuitive with what the event is.
He just didn't have an answer for you. He didn't know where he wanted people to stand. So
yeah,
you made him
exactly.
You made him look stupid, probably.
It wasn't that hard to make him look stupid. So yeah, it's ridiculous. And then like a minute later, the woman came over, the same one from who marked my hand, I think, was like, okay, we need you to stand against the wall then. And it's like, okay, problem solved. Now we're not a fire hazard, and we get to stay here. With the thought of maybe getting Montgomery or not. As it turns out, I ended up talking to the guy in front of me too for a long time about it. As it turns out, it was his line was moving slowly, and I was like, well, I can jump out of his line right now and get Ryan Sweeney or wait for Montgomery. I ended up jumping out because I had just gotten Montgomery. I didn't need Sweeney either, but I'm like, I brought kind of 2 cards for him that I wanted to get. So I ended up getting Sweeney. It was fine, whatever. I ended up jumping to, I got Randy Wells at some point. I got Jonathan Long. I got James Triantos. All guys I didn't need, but I'm there, and it's Cubs convention, so I did it. I was walking out to leave, and I was walking through the lobby, and I run into Angelo, which was no weekend would have been complete without seeing Angelo.
No.
Now, Jack, Angelo said that he saw you. He's like, I saw your buddy. He's like, can't remember his name, but I saw him. But it's like I don't think he saw me because he didn't respond to me.
I said hi to him.
You did.
Yes.
Yeah, that's funny. He's like,
I said, hey, what's up? I said, hey, what's up, man? He's like, oh, hey, yeah, I saw him on Friday.
Yeah,
the
that's
hell that
funny.
guy's talking about.
Yeah, who knows? He's crazy. But so I started talking to him a little bit, and he's like, dude, this weekend has been horrible. And I go like a lot of complaints. And then we unloaded like our thoughts with each other. And then we ended up going over by the elevator, and Justin Grimm comes out, and me and Chase, his son, both get Justin Grimm. So that was kind of fun, like just like nice. a lobby autograph right at the end.
Nice, yeah, that is fun. And yeah, Grimm was one of the guys who I didn't get, who I needed and wanted. So yeah. maybe next year.
Yeah, this is the second time he's been there in the time we've been going, so I'm sure he'll be somewhat of a semi-regular. So yeah, I think he's in play. So then I get Grimm. I kind of hang around a little bit, but I wanted to get home, get ready for the Bears game, take a nap. And so I'm like, all right, Angelo, I'll see ya. I'm going to take off. I walk through. I see Josh, of course, one last time, of course, and his buddy, the other kid, not JJ, but Leo. And I see Ray Burris walking out. He kind of comes out of some like weird side door. And Josh goes up to Ray, and he's like, Ray, my man. and he like gives him like he like shakes hands with him. He's like, are you taking off? And like he started talking to him, and Burris is like, yeah, we're trying to take off or something. And it was just, I kind of just walked away from there. I kind of like looked at Burris, and I think he smiled at me. And and Josh started like BSing with him. I was just like, okay, that's crazy. So I just walked away. But it was really weird. Gosh. He goes like, Ray, my man. And I was like, that's a little weird, but it's Josh. So I just got out of there. And so, yeah, I took off, and that was my Cubs convention.
Nice. Yeah, that's good, Jeremy. Yeah, I had to work on Sunday. So yeah, I was just completely exhausted when I got up. So when I left the CubsCon on Saturday, I actually was able to get the 151, which drops me off right at my house, which was great. So it was a great commute home. I went to bed early. I got 8 hours of sleep, but when I woke up on Sunday, I was like, no matter how much sleep I got, like I'm still, it's not going to make me not exhausted, just like physically and mentally. Yeah, man, and it's Monday night when we're recording this, and I still haven't had like a break. So it's been crazy. I know you had a little time to recharge the batteries because I think you had off today, and most of Sunday. But yeah, man, it's CubsCon is exhausting. You're on your feet for hours and hours. Even when you're not on your feet, you're sitting on your butt in like a little chair or just on the floor. So it requires a lot of endurance. I think this is probably my best year yet as far as that goes. But it's not easy. So I guess, we'll look forward to next year, but not really sure if there is going to be a next year at this point.
Yeah, so someone brought up during the lines on Sunday. It's like, or no, actually, it was on the Facebook group. Someone said, like, did you notice that? So they give out a calendar every year as part of like your goodie bag or whatever. They actually didn't have bags this year, but they gave us a calendar, a 2026, 27 calendar, and usually they have the dates. Now, usually it's the weekend of Martin Luther King Day, like leading into that, so you can kind of just assume that. But there's no dates on the calendar that they gave away, meaning that like they're kind of like preparing for a lockout. The whole baseball world is talking about it. Yeah, so I don't know. Me and my friend Comer were like talking about, what would they do if there is a lockout? Like, would it just be alumni? And so maybe they do that. Someone else mentioned that they think that that's what they did previously when there was a lockout. So It couldn't be anyone on the 40-man roster. So they could just do an all alumni one, but there's no date set for it. So who knows? Yeah, it may not happen.
Something I wonder, Jeremy, is just because all of those alumni players were part of the union, would they stand in solidarity with the players who were striking or who were locked out? Something to consider, I suppose.
Yeah, I know. I wonder. It's like it's not like they're going to play, so like I wonder if it's like a little less frowned upon if they did that. But yeah, for sure, that's a valid concern. So I don't know, but I mean this could be answered if any of us knew what they did in like 1994 or something. But
sure,
or 95. But yeah, so I don't know. But yeah, well, we'll see about that. Hopefully this isn't an issue, but it certainly seems like it might be. But yeah, it was it's just a crazy weekend. I slept in and I still I'm not fully recovered. It'll probably be like within the week until I finally feel like back up to speed.
Yeah, so and I'm still trying to get there, but it was a good time. I ended up with 18 autographs, Jeremy. I'm sure you ended up with more than that. That's true. That's what I wanted to say. I looked at so I was down last year, like in numbers. I think I had like 64 last year. Yeah.
I counted. I got 40 this year.
Okay.
That's just a grand total. Like I got 2 of 2 from a handful of guys, and I actually had Triantos redo the same card because I wasn't crazy about the way it turned out on Saturday. So, it's probably more like 30 or 29 or something if you did individual, but yeah, 40 total, which is good, but it's down. But like Swanson and Happ were like gonna make up for a lot of those numbers, so that was that was huge.
It was. Well, that was one marker of the off season complete. The next one is going to be Sox Fest, which is coming up in late January. So that'll be the next festival we go to. So that'll be pretty fun. And we may have something in the interim as well.
Yeah, our buddy Chris will be at Sox Fest. I'm already looking forward to it. It'll be like a lot more chill and like. It'll be interesting for me. I guess it'll probably be similar to like your interaction or your experience of like going to a fest that's not like your main team or something.
Sure.
So I'm just kind of like looking forward to it and having it be fun and like just not being super invested and just whatever we get will be gravy. But should be cool. It's funny. Luis Robert is on the list. you know, I refuse to believe that we're gonna get him. Like they're gonna cancel, they're gonna trade him, or like he won't sign. So I don't know what's gonna happen there. But it should still be cool, and we'll walk away with some autographs, and it'll be fun.
Yeah, heck yeah. Well, until next time, I'm Jack Swakowski.
I'm Jeremy Dionisio.
We'll see you later.
Bye bye.